Hi, it's Bob from Our Travel Adventures, here with some more information on Ballard's Black Island Resort. So I did travel with a friend on this one. He's from Canada, and that did add to some complexity on getting there. The main airport that you fly into for this trip is International Falls, Minnesota, but we didn't want him to have to cross the border, go through customs and everything, only to drive right back across the border. So we sent him into Thunder Bay in Canada. He rented the car there. Once I got to International Falls, I just grabbed a taxi, went to the border crossing, and walked across and did my customs on that side where he could pick me up. Once I crossed the border, I was in Fort Francis, Ontario. We ended up staying at a Quality Inn in town. It was very basic. This moose was our greeter as we walked in the door. The rooms were no frills, but they were clean. It had a decent breakfast, and so was everything that we needed for the evening. We did find a nice restaurant with this incredible view called La Place Rendezvous. They had a pretty good menu. We had a pickle burger, some chicken wings and fries, and they did have a nice cocktail list as well. The next morning we drove up to Morrison. It's about an hour and a half drive. You do pass through some small towns on the way. You can pick up some groceries, drinks, definitely if you want. Any alcohol out on the island, they do not provide any, so you need to take it along. But make sure you pick that stuff up. There's not a whole lot in Morrison. At the marina, they do charge you $10 a day to park. And they had some fishing equipment, some like souvenir t-shirt type stuff, but not a whole lot else to offer there. I would highly recommend as well that you order your fishing license and your outdoor card online before you ever get to this point. Ballards does have their own private boat slip right here at Gills, and that's where they'll pick you up. It's about a 20-minute boat ride out to the island, and your first views of the Lake of the Woods. This lake is huge, 950,000 acres, over 14,000 islands in the lake. And notice this beautiful weather. More on that to come. We were able to arrange for an early pickup at 1 instead of their normal 5 o'clock from the marina out to the island. When you make your reservations, you'll work with Danielle, and she is amazing, professional, quick to answer, and very good to get your questions answered. So she worked with us to make that happen. Once we were out, we did get to walk around the island a little bit. There's a trail that goes around the island out through the woods. We cast off of the marina docks for a while, and we got to see our cabin, the Bayside cabin, which is a cabin for 2. There are 5 cabins on the island at the resort for customers. This is the Bayside cabin where we spent our 6 nights, 5-day adventure. Dash was the fish camp guard dog, took good care of us, and our view was over the marina and the sandy beach where there'd be campfires at night. Inside the cabin, it's rustic, but everything we really needed for our stay. The bathroom did just have hand soap, so bring whatever you need for the shower. In the lodge, we had this dining area, which they'd reconfigure depending on the groups that we're in. And the room next door was a gathering place where we could watch TVs. The game was always on. They did have sodas and waters available for us. Every day we were up early, getting ready to go out fishing, and the sunrises could be absolutely spectacular. Even with the weather that we were having and all the clouds, sometimes I guess that does help with the sunrise as well, gives it some more to bounce off of. But it was really, really pretty in the mornings as we'd walk over to the lodge and get ready for breakfast. Breakfasts were hearty, usually eggs, potatoes type of breakfast, and would get you fueled up and ready to go for the day. The next tip is to expect weather. When we were looking at this trip, it was in the 70s every day, and we got there, it was in the 40s with wind chills in the 30s. We wore every bit of clothes we brought. Make sure that you bring rain gear, that you have warm clothes and layers. Every morning at breakfast, there's a board that shows you who your guide for the day will be. We were lucky to be paired with Izzy and Art for our 5 days of fishing, and absolutely enjoyed these gentlemen. They were fantastic guides, definitely professionals with the boat, and knew how to get us on the fish and what it would take to catch them. At 8:30, it was finally time to hit the water. Nice view of the resort as we would come out of the marina and head out to our fishing spots. Some days water like glass. Some days we had some pretty good waves that we were bouncing across, and they'd have to pull us into leeward sides of the island so that we could stay on the structure where the fish were. Either way, great scenery as we went out and took off across the lake. It'd take 20-25 minutes and we'd be fishing. And depending on what was biting for the day, As I mentioned, walleye were a little scarce early on, so they took us into some crappie spots and some other spots that were really fun to fish. And shore lunch was an incredible opportunity as well. They'd pull you into one of the islands and fillet your fish that you caught that morning, cook up some potatoes, onions, and beans to go with it. And you got to enjoy wandering around the island a little bit. It was a great opportunity to get off the boat, stretch your legs, warm up around the campfire a little bit, and enjoy an incredible lunch. I would definitely suggest doing this a few times. Now let's talk the fish. We caught pike, huge amounts of walleye, crappie, and these guys were huge. Check out the size of these slabs. There were perch, pike, walleye, saugers, even smallmouth bass. We got to just keep reeling them in. We think we caught over 200 walleye a piece while we were there, somewhere in that count. We even got to go for tiger muskie. Had a few hits, but never actually got one into the boat. We did both get sports licenses so that we could bring some fish home. Bag limits are pretty tight on the lake, so it's not a grocery run, but you can definitely bring some back. After a big day of fishing, you needed some dinner. Narina, Heather, and Sherry took great care of us for our meals. Usually 3 to 4 courses. You'd get an appetizer, there'd be a salad, and then you'd go into your entree. We had prime rib, ribeyes, pork chops, fish fries, you name it, we got it. And then everybody was always too full for dessert, but you had to eat the dessert. The desserts were amazing, and it was just a great way to end the day. And then usually some football or baseball on the TV. Animals were all around. We got to see pelicans, lots of bald eagles. These are hooded mergansers swimming along the shoreline. More pelicans trying to get out of the water. That was a very cold day. And Dash, our guard dog. The bald eagles, though, they really put on a show for us. They were all over. Everywhere you looked, you could find them. These two actually put on quite the display, calling back and forth to each other. And just after I turned off the phone, did a little talon lock and came down. Watching them fish was definitely a highlight. I was lucky enough to get this catch on the film. Overall, we truly enjoyed our time at Ballards Black Island Resort, and we would do it again in a heartbeat. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love if you'd leave a like on the video. It really does help. And if you enjoyed this, consider subscribing so you can follow the rest of our adventures.